Hello everyone and welcome to another Force Sounds edit. I'm not going to waffle on too much at the beginning of this one, and I'm just going to jump straight into the picture and we're going to see how we get on. The image that I'm going to be editing today is a robin from Sherwood Forest. And what kind of better image to edit anyway? Robin, Sherwood, they kind of go hand in hand. So the image itself, perhaps not the most spectacular in the world, but the half of the fun of this is the edits rather than the actual image. Given the type of scope that it is, it's shot at 3200 ISO, which is giving us quite a considerable amount of noise, but there's still some details there which capture the robin nicely, and if you were to post this, pin this, you wouldn't notice those things as much. So I think it's still something we can work with. Let's go straight in then. Colours down. Now I've been really enjoying doing this with my robin pictures lately, is going towards the colder colours, because obviously we see robins, they're usually around the winter time in the UK, so for me they do fit that kind of darker colour a little bit. Kind of think they're going to be out foraging for food. I do anyway, I don't know about you, but I always see them most prevalent in the winter, especially when they want to come following along. So at the moment, exposure is where it is, contrast is going up a bit to bring some more detail out in that, and then just playing around with the blacks and highlights, getting where I want them. So I'm just going to bring those blacks quite considerably down. Now clarity wise, I know that if I play with the clarity too much, that noise is going to get worse. So I do want some clarity, but I'm only going to give it a little bit, and the rest I'll kind of fix in the sharpen module. I don't want to wash this one out too much, so we're not going too aggressive with the tone curve. Other things about the image, shot on the Tamron 150 to 600. I think it was a focal length of about 450 on this one, but only a shutter speed of 250. So handheld as well, so I'm quite happy it's even in focus and not blurry as anything, given that that lens is an absolute pain to try and handhold, given the weight of it. Colour wise, we're going to really saturate that orange, that's our focal point on this one, but we're going to also go up on the blues a little bit. I want to bring those down, just darken them. And then let's... oh, actually that's quite nice. Yeah. So I've just gone towards the purples, magentas, purples on the colour grading for the darks, for the shadows, and the highlights we're going towards the orange. So let's address this sharpening a little bit. Like I said, I don't want to over sharpen it, but you can see that that noise is going to come in. But I do want to just a little touches on the sharpening, on the detail. And then obviously not too heavy on the masking, because we will lose all that detail we've put in. But we can get that focused on what we want, which is the feathers. There we go. Quite happy with that. Let's leave that one there. Let's not push ourselves too early, so let's have a look at the before, and there's the after. We'll go to image number 2. So this was going to be pushing those warmer colours. Don't know what the temptation is here, so give you an example of where my head's at. I'm tempted to push it up, and we can see in terms of exposure, the exposure is perfectly fine for the image, and I could really pull that up, but actually I'm liking bringing it down as well. I like the darker image, but I think we will actually go towards the highlights a little bit, and I'll show you where my head's at in a minute. So highlight wise, you can see there's not much we can get there, but we can get rid of some of that background, so I'm going to pull it down. Oh, a fair bit. Shadows, we're going to bring back a shadow detail back in. But overall the whites staying where they are, and the blacks, yeah, they can stay where they are. Clarity, texture, everything, dehaze. Let's put in a little bit of haze, because that's where that's gonna help me. So before I go too far with anything else, let me get this in. So what I want to do, I'm gonna completely overexpose this side of the image. And let's do that again, but we're gonna have a bit more of a fall off. There we go. Whether you're into that kind of thing, let me know in the comments. Do you think it works? Do you think it looks horrible? Do you think that kind of leads the eye to the right too much, or is there still some focus on the robin? Because obviously we are drawn to the lighter colours. Well, that's the theory anyway. Vibrance wise, I'm just going to bring that down a touch, and then what I'm going to do tone wise, so obviously if I go down heavy on that, that's going to make all those light colours dark, put them towards the greys. So I don't want to mess with that too much. We can actually blow them up. No, let's leave that. The darker side, soften them just a little, but I don't want to lose that dehaze. Okay. Now, I do want to push those oranges. I'm going to bring those down a bit. Move them more towards the reds. No, let's leave ones where they are. And we'll leave the shadows and tones and everything. Sharpen this one. Let's do a quick sharpen. I'm always tempted to oversharpen my images. And this is from a time when I would view things quite closely and be quite picky. But now I like oversharpening them because I'm not going to go into that detail. This is generally going to be printed, posted on Twitter, all the usual, and you're not going to notice this image. Like, is it bad? Maybe. But when it's zoomed out like that, it's great. At least I think it does. So let's have a look at the before. Let's have a look at the after. Okay. So we're not finished yet. So I quite like that second image we did. So I'm going to push towards that again. But I'm going to do the inverse of what I said. Like I said, I did like lighten it up, but this one, we're going to have a moody robin. I think this is my idea of playing with a low summer sun, maybe. Like, we've got the light, but it's quite low in the sky. I'm going to soften that clarity a little bit, and then dehaze again. Yeah, just a touch down. Now I'm going to bring the saturation down because I'm not liking what's happening to the background. I could start playing around with a few filters and whatnot, but I'm not going there. So this time we're going to go bring that gradient down. It's actually going to be darker around the robin. Contrast wise, yep. And let's have another linear gradient. Not as much. Let's check that first one again. And so what I'm doing here is kind of building up a vignette, but I'm putting it where I want to. and I'm kind of controlling these directions of light. And then for the final one, once I'm happy with them, I'll put in a radial gradient around the robin. He says, deselecting it, invert it so that we've only got the robin that's selected, and then bring that exposure down more. Not too much, because you can already see it looks like there's a little spotlight or halo on him. But that just allows me to control the areas that I want to see. I'll bring them more into kind of a line with each other in terms of light. That's the theory anyway. Works for me. Let's go for a heavy curve, because we haven't done that yet today. Ooh, love it. I just love what that kind of curve does to an image. You know what? Keep doing it, but let's go. Brush. And then saturation all the way up. Let's just zoom in. And what we're going to do... get that flow up a bit. Just giving that kind of like red breast, making it stand out a lot more. And we're actually going to increase the exposure there. Oh. Yeah, I think that's, let's just erase a little bit of that. There we go. Could happily give a whole tutorial on going over with brushes and making things stand out. Maybe for another day. Do I want to play around with colour grading? Is it a case of too much? Yeah, I think that's going to be too much for me. Champagne I'm going to leave on this one, because I don't want to... I think that's fine, from where we're at. Okay, so let's have a look at the before and the after. And we'll go to our black and white edit. Exposure wise, let's leave it as it is. Contrast. Bring that down a bit. Let's go bounce these opposite sides. So we're basically, with the white and the blacks, just seeing how far we can get. This is where clipping occurs, so there's no point going that far. Blacks, same thing, we can have a little bit of shadow, but we don't want too much. And there we go. Clarity, yes please. Heavy curve. Oh, I love it every time, just that faded look. And granted, some people might not like it, each to their own. What I'm looking for is a no. It's a robin. It's a shame to do it in black and white because you lose that red vest, but we could do something fun where we just isolate the red. I'm not going to do that, but we could. Let's just pump a little bit of noise reduction into that one, because obviously the clarity. Waxwork figures time. Ooh. Yeah, think about that. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. So there's the before, and there's the after. So as usual, if you've got a favourite image from the day, shoot me a comment down below, let me know what you think. Feedback is always welcome. And please do hit that subscribe button if you've enjoyed this video. And until next time, see you later all.